All right, story time. So I decided to do like third party deliveries for like an extra side hustle, right? So yesterday was my first day, and I did it while my kids were at school. And the first place that I had to deliver to was an abandoned house. I pull up in this driveway, and of course, where I live at, it's like real rural. It's farms, woods, nothing but woods. So I pull into this long driveway to this abandoned, boarded up house back in the woods. And so I'm looking at like the delivery instructions, and the person just left very specific, like come around to the garage, which was in the back of the house, and set the delivery on the table. So I'm thinking in my head, like, who's online ordering food from an abandoned house? So I'm kind of nervous, but this is why it's so important for you to be able to carry. Even if it's not a firearm, maybe a taser, maybe pepper spray, because I know that there's a lot of young ladies out there that are either doing Uber Eats or Postmates or Instacart or DoorDash or Grubhub, right? And you just got to be careful. Like, you really don't think about these things. You're out just trying to, bring in some extra income, or maybe that's your only kind of income at the moment. And you're not really thinking about the potential dangers, and it is getting really, really crazy out in the streets. So I have my firearm with me because in the state that I live in, it's a constitutional carry, but I still have my concealed carry permit anyway. So I dropped the box off, and I'm like getting the hell up out of there, right? Not trying to stick around. There are only 2 cars that were parked by there. And usually when someone has to deliver it, even though this is like my first time doing this, isn't it customary to leave it on the front porch? Like, who sends you to the back of the house? That's mad sketchy. So anyway, I take a break. My kids are getting out of school because it's the last day of school. So my son is on punishment. So I was like, you gonna come with me, while we do some more deliveries and make some more money. So we get a notification that we have a pickup at Walmart. So I'm like, okay, well, this is about to be a little grocery pickup. So we're waiting and we're waiting. And the delivery comes out, y'all, and it's not groceries. It's a bag of condoms. So now I'm sitting like, my son's right next to me. He is only 12, and we're looking at each other like, what the hell? I had to explain to my son, like, we had to have a whole condom conversation. I didn't even know that this was such a thing. So anyway, I'm like, well, listen, we they pay for the delivery, so we just gonna do it. We're really sitting having a condom conversation, and we're laughing because at first it just seems funny. So before my son got in the car, I told him, I'm like, listen, he knows how to shoot. He's been training. I've been training with him. And he does have a little small 22 LR rifle, right? As his first gun. So I'm like, if anything happens to me, our car has a little SOS feature. Thank you, Toyota. And I'll be GPS tracked. Plus, he has my cell phone, and he knows to just run and get help, or hell, even if you have to shoot somebody that's trying to do something to me, he had something, he had my weapon, right? So I'm looking at the instructions for the drop off, and it says to call the person when I arrived for a discreet exchange. So I'm like, okay, I can understand why you might want to go to a side door and like, yeah, thanks for my delivery of condoms. If you got your little sweetheart there and y'all trying to, whatever, lateral dance. I'm like, yeah. So I text him and I'm like, I'm here with your delivery because I'm not going anywhere now at this point. I'm not going anywhere past the front door. I ain't doing no back door drop offs in the middle of nowhere. And like I said, where I live at is rural. So the houses are pretty spread apart in some areas and there's not a neighbor for miles. So if something happens to you and you screaming, nobody's going to hear you. This condom drop off actually was in a housing development where the houses were fairly close together, but still, I didn't trust the whole call me for a discreet exchange thing. So I get up to the door, and I'm not the only delivery person that's been to this house for a freaking box of condoms. I get there, there's already a bag of condoms laying on the ground. So I'm like, what's really going on? So I'm like, listen, let me just go ahead and drop this bag on the porch, take a picture of it, and get the hell out of here. Because now I'm thinking something is weird. I know that there was a car in the driveway, and this is a 2-car garage house. So there was a car in the driveway with Cobb County plates, right? So first of all, who orders from Walmart and only orders condoms? And you did it not once, but twice. So I presume the first driver had the same instructions and did the very same thing that I did. So I'm telling y'all all this to say, y'all gotta be careful, man. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, and while I'm out driving, for deliveries, I'm thinking, I got sent to a spot. I got another call to go to some restaurant that was down in this really country part of town. And when I got there, there was no restaurant. It was just a parking lot. And most of the businesses in that parking lot were closed. Y'all got to be careful. I know we out here trying to make extra money, but instances like that, it makes me rethink this whole, third-party delivery thing. Because it could be dangerous. Like, what if I would have called that guy with the condom drop-off, and he was like, yeah, can you meet me in the back of my house? And it turned out to be some sex trafficking type stuff, okay? Because I've never heard of having condoms delivered. Like, if you know you're going to be having sex, that's just something to me that you should already have planned for. But to have 2 different deliveries show up for the same thing, that's not weird, y'all. So at this point, it don't even matter if you're a lady. I mean, this can apply to, a guy out there too. Please be careful out here, y'all. Like, it is some weird stuff happening. And I really debated on whether I wanted to say anything about this because it was just weird. And maybe it's just my paranoia, right? But it just needs to be said because of, it's just crazy out here. You just never know. Like, this might make somebody think twice while they're out there doing Uber Eats or whatever delivery service you do. Like, just be careful, and please make sure you have something on you: pepper spray, mace, a stun gun, a firearm, make sure y'all protecting yourself out here in these streets, y'all. And y'all be blessed.